What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon, and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about the final book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, Capturing the Devil by Kerri Maniscalco. I am extremely disappointed with this book, and especially the trajectory in which this entire series went. I really loved Stalking Jack the Ripper when I first read it. Yes, I did have some gripes with it, mostly that just kind of came down to the mystery and the clues and all that kind of stuff. I really liked hunting Prince Dracula, I had the same kind of gripes, but overall, this was just a really fun story. I loved the aesthetic. It was very Sherlock Holmes and James Watson, and just, I thought this was gonna be Audrey Rose and Thomas kind of going from adventure to adventure. And in a way, it was, but when it came to this book, I just could not get into it, and the writing, to me, really suffered. The pacing was all over the place, and it just overall was not a very good read. So we left off in the third book, Escaping from Houdini, on kind of an emotional note. We had, Thomas and Audrey Rose were in a little bit of a tight spot. She had been seeming to be falling in love with somebody else, and Thomas was a little bit jealous. Audrey Rose took a knife to the leg and is now limping, but they have made it to New York, and it looks like Jack the Ripper might be back to haunt their nightmares, although they thought Jack the Ripper was dead, but maybe Audrey Rose's brother hadn't been working alone as they might have thought. I did really like this bit of the story. I liked revisiting Jack the Ripper. I liked the idea of it being kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing, or like a Frankenstein and his monster type of relationship, with Audrey Rose's brother Nathaniel occupying one part of that while somebody else was actually doing the murders, somebody who became obsessed with Audrey Rose and followed her to America. But this side of the story does not get a lot of attention. That is, we jump right into that in the beginning, and then suddenly we're sidetracked because the entire first half of this book is dedicated to Audrey Rose and Thomas getting married. What irritated me about this is that it was very repetitive, and it didn't feel like it lined up with the end of Escaping from Houdini, because I was under the impression that these two were kind of splitting off just a little bit. Like, obviously they were going to come back together, but they were in a very tight place at the end of the third book, and it seems like there's no repercussions from that at all when we get into this one. So the entire beginning of this book is just a very overdramatic romance for two people that we know are going to end up together, so it just felt like we were slogging through it. The pacing really suffered, and overall the entire beginning of this book does not matter when you get to the end of it. All of the stakes that are introduced in the first half of this book completely go away in the second half, and they didn't matter at all. They are explained away in a couple of sentences, which just made it feel very clunky and very disjointed. When we finally get into the second half of the book, I'm still waiting for the story to get started. When you read the description for this book, it talks about them going to Chicago and the World's Fair and the murder hotel, all that kind of stuff. None of that is introduced until the second half of this book, and to be perfectly honest, saying anything about the murder hotel on your book is a huge spoiler, because we don't even go there till the final chapters. So I'm waiting for this to happen. I'm waiting for the story to get started, and it just never goes anywhere, and that is so frustrating. I feel like this book was a horrible way to wrap up the series, and I just feel really down about it. And the reason I'm so passionate about it is because I really loved Audrey Rose and Thomas, and this book made me just really want to be done with them. I was a little bit disheartened when I finished the third book, and I'm just even more so now. I'm happy that the series is over. I honestly don't think we could have made it through like a fifth book, but I just wish that this could have been wrapped up in a different way. You could have had the exact same ending, but told a better story in this book. I really do feel like the author was split on, I want to tell all of the fluffy bits about Audrey Rose and Thomas's relationship, but I also have to wrap up the story with Jack the Ripper, and both of those aspects suffered because she tried to force them together. So overall, I am just very disappointed in where this series went, and I'm at this point now where I don't even know if I would recommend this series to anybody, just because I know what's waiting for you at the end. I really enjoyed the first two books, and I could see myself rereading them, and honestly, if I would recommend this series, I would say stop there. If you have made it this far, I would love to know your thoughts on this book. Maybe it's just me, maybe I was just expecting too much, or maybe I was just falling out of love with the series anyway, so I'd I'd love to know all of your thoughts down in the comments below, but this book is getting a D+ for me, and I honestly wouldn't recommend the series anymore. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything got for you today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!